floating around, girl. Be trying not to be looking like I'm floating. All right. Okay, here we go. Hello, family and friends. Welcome to a new episode of the Reimagine You Lab podcast. It is me, MG, and I just want to welcome you. And as always, you know that you are in for a treat. I've got a delightful young lady in the lab tonight. I cannot do this by myself. So let me just set it up real quick, just so that we can get all of our dirty details out of the way so that we can jump in. So I want to make sure you know how we do. Thank you to all of our beautiful subscribers, all of you that tune in. I just want to say thank you for making sure that you tune in each week. I appreciate you, applaud you, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button if this is the first time that you have tuned in. Hit that subscribe button so that every time a new episode rolls out on these Fridays, that you get the notification. So don't forget to hit that bell. And I want you to know, share this episode. This is going to be a good one. They always are. There's always some notes, some tips, some tricks, some substance that you are going to get, because when you come into the lab, we talking about reimagining you, change being a choice. There's going to be something good. I promise you. So that's all my dirty details, y'all. That's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to leave the ladies standing here or sitting here waiting on us to get going. So I've got to tell you, I have the one, the only, the lovely Jessica, the lovely that is in the lab today. Hello, Jessica.
Hello, Michelle. What an intro. Thank you so much.
Yes,
I'm here with you.
I am so glad that you are here. Thank you for saying yes. We just recently met, and I'm excited to tell people how that happened. But before I do that, I told you that we were going beyond the bio. So yes. let me get out of the way so that you have your opportunity to tell everybody who you are, where you're at, what you do, how you do it. I'm out of the way.
I appreciate that. Hello, everyone. My name is Jessica Douglas. I am currently based in North Carolina, and I would call myself, I'm an entrepreneur, a business owner, a fellow creative, and a lifestyle and foodie content creator. I have two businesses currently, one of them being Carolina Cosmic Collective, which consists of myself and my amazing partner, Jessica Braden. We have an all-women's media, creative media, videography, and photography business, women-run, minority-owned, and additionally Taste of Black, which I'll be sharing a lot about this evening with you all, and is my most recent business that was launched in February of this year. And for Taste of Black, we curate experiences that highlight Black culture, food, fellowship. Our team consists of myself and my two close friends, Jennifer and Deshauna, who are based in Florida. And we've been able to curate a series of events thus far and really kind of create a space for us by us, which is very important for me as a business owner and just as a fellow creative in the community. So I'm super excited to share some of my entrepreneurial journey with you all and kind of how I got started and what I've been up to lately and kind of what we're looking forward to for the future as well, with all the projects and fun things that we have coming up. So yes, local to the Carolinas, but I did used to live in Florida, in Tampa, which has a special place in my heart and is where I've been able to coordinate a lot of different activities and events and hope to continue to do that in the future as well.
Yeah, Jessica, I love that. You creative, you are curating experiences, you talking things that I absolutely love, because I consider myself a reimagined strategist, which is all about, you know what, hey, we can reimagine what life looks like, what business looks like, how we do it, the people that we do it with. So yes. When you talked about being a photographer, part of this creative, this collective that you're part of, it's you, it's partners, it's your business, it's your friends. Tell me, how did you get started on this journey in the first place? Like, where did the idea, the inspirations and such come from? How'd you get here?
Yes. So to start with a photography, videography tip, for years, I've always been involved in modeling. So it was typically in front of the camera for about over 10 years. Always loved creative directing, I would say, and coming up with different passion projects and visions. I was able to coordinate with close friends on different photo shoots. I didn't realize at the time that was creative direction. And I love bringing people together. I like to consider myself like a super connector and finding talent in the community and just being able to provide a platform for folks to kind of flex their skill set, specifically female creatives, because in the fashion industry, it can be very male dominated in the photography realm. So we wanted to, as someone who's modeled for years and as someone who now has a creative business, my partner and I found it important to really create a space where young women, aspiring female models could be comfortable and in a safe space where they could feel comfortable. And us being like the fellow hype women, making people feel confident in front of the camera. It's just something I really enjoy. So it started when I was probably in college. I was doing a lot of different photo shoots and just was building a portfolio, was always working as a freelancer, loved being in front of the camera, and just had a passion for that specific fashion, the art world, and styling, and was able to meet with Jessica. She photographed me. We did quite a few projects together. And as time progressed and our team kept expanding with just amazing women in the community, I was like, we have a pretty good thing going. We might want to consider this this could be a business. And spread this vision, this idea to more than just our little inner circle and continue to expand upon that. So that's how Carolina Cosmic was birthed. It was myself, Jess, and two other women at the time who had kind of had a little bit of a sit down. It always starts in a coffee shop or a restaurant and writing ideas on a napkin and just kind of like spitballing, brainstorming. And with Carolina Cosmic, the name was birthed because us being in North Carolina. And our tagline is "We shoot for the stars." We love the
I love that.
Yeah. So we really wanted to be creative with it. We're both big visionaries and very eclectic. And in terms of the visuals that we put together, we like to stand out and do things that are fun and engaging. So that's how that business was birthed. With Taste of Black, for me, and I feel like for even both my businesses, I'm really big on storytelling. I love being able to amplify a vision that anybody has, whether it's a client or somebody that I work under, or if I'm curating an event. The biggest thing for me is what's the takeaway? What do we want to leave people with? And I feel like everyone has an amazing story to tell. So I like creating platforms where people in the community who are really change makers and are doing some awesome things can just have a platform to express themselves, share their business, their art, their vision with others, and just create a space where people can just build, collaborate. Love creating spaces where collaboration thrives. And I, as a creative director, storytelling is a big thing. So I kind of built that in Taste of Black, but also highlighting more, amplifying Black and Brown voices. As someone who's Afro-Latina, really wanted to kind of elevate people in that community, especially in areas where it may not be as prominent, and just kind of creating a space. Tampa, for example, we've done events in Cary, North Carolina. And a big thing for me is always seeing the face behind the brand. That's kind of what Taste of Black. And I had a business prior called Gems and Roots that I had done with my fiance. This was actually during the Black Lives Matter movement is what kind of sparked that, because there was a big push for highlight your favorite Black-owned business. There was a bunch of things, there was a wave on social media where people were just tagging different Black-owned businesses so we can support and provide funding, which is amazing. But I wanted to kind of take it up a notch and I wanted to learn more about the face behind that brand. Who started that business? What was their entrepreneur journey? What made them want to create that product or that service? So I was really interested in interviewing and connecting with some of those business owners so they can then inspire other young entrepreneurs and professionals, myself included, who was still kind of starting at the basics. I hadn't even thought about creating a business at the time, but I was just inspired by the excellence I was seeing from these different entrepreneurs. So I was really eager to highlight their stories so others could continue to support them and just kind of know the highs and lows of running a business and just how to get started. How do you what's that first step look like, which is different for everyone. But that was kind of what inspired me to take that leap and create a platform to highlight some of those stories and testimonies.
No, I love that. I love that. And that's so key, right? Like first of all, everybody's story is different. But there is a first step that everybody has to take. That's something we all have in common. You know what, when you were thinking about what were some of those pivotal moments that led to those significant changes? So I heard you talk about you guys getting together and really wanting to, it wasn't just, hey, I think I could do this, but there were really some some things that were really behind it, like really being able to, hey, I wanted to call attention to, though I wanted to know who were the faces behind these Black owned business, who were the people that got them started. So having those significant things that for your career and kind of like your, hey, you're the person behind your brand. So talk to me a little bit about who is Jessica Douglas? Like, Jessica, who are you behind this cosmic collective?
Yeah. Oh, wow. This
Values
is such a great question. I'm so used to talking about everybody else on the team and highlighting all the other businesses. I never even think to include myself in the mix. Sometimes I see myself as kind of like a silent observer. I'm just kind of keeping things moving along, especially with the Taste of Black event. But great question. Who is Jessica Douglas? Oh my goodness. Jessica is a proud, creative, female Black creative who
mastermind.
just really takes pleasure in fellowship, team building. I'm definitely a people person, definitely consider myself to be one who enjoys being on the ground in the community, building relationships, and thrives in spaces where people are flourishing, where excellence is celebrated in my community. And definitely consider myself to be have a business creative mindset, project management, and just overall just loves to see people be create spaces where people can come as their most authentic selves. Because I like to show up as my most authentic self. When I create and think of things, events, projects, whatever it is, I also put myself in their shoes and think about, well, where could I see myself flourishing, or what would I want to see or attend, and could really get some gems and insight from, and could flourish in these type of spaces. So I guess some folks would say, I guess my friends would say, you're like a Renaissance woman and you just love bringing people together. And back to that term, super connector. I definitely resonate with that. I love meeting new people. Any networking event, I am there. I definitely love making connections, just meeting people, just hearing about their stories, learning about them, and just having intentional interactions, building genuine connections with people. And West Coast girl in the Carolinas who just loves to kind of share all the good vibes, the positive energy, and very much have a glass half full type of energy, which I like to bring to everything that I do.
I absolutely love that. And you know what? I connect with that because I totally see that all about you, Jessica, from the time from the whole event. I really love Taste of Black. I thought that was such a well put together event. I thought that you guys did an amazing job of putting it together, and all of those who participated and everything. So talk a little bit about Taste of Black and kind of what you did when you were talk about it as a business and when you were putting it together, and kind of what you had in mind and how it successfully played out here in Tampa. I know you did one in North Carolina first, and then you did one North Carolina was the inaugural, and then you came and you did one in Tampa. So talk a little bit about that so people know what it is.
Absolutely. So it's definitely Taste of Black is a business where it's focused on curated events for Black and Brown creatives in different areas. So we launched in North Carolina. It was really strategic about trying to do a soft launch during Black History Month. And it started with just a conversation with a friend. I literally just kind of spitballing different ideas. I've always been inspired by Essence Fest in New Orleans and seeing that amazing 3-day, 4-day festival, bringing in Black creatives, artists, talent from all over the world to just kind of come and engage with each other and share their experiences, their art, their vision with attendees. And I don't know, I just always leave feeling just inspired and just very excited for whatever the next tier is going to be. I'm always excited for the year upcoming. So that played a big role in Taste of Black. And as somebody who has a culinary background, I'm very big on being a foodie, I appreciate the food scene, especially in the Black and Brown community. And I'm always seeing some amazing chefs and creatives in North Carolina, specifically, as being in the South, was always impressed by that. And I was like, oh my gosh, if I can balance all the things that I enjoy. I love to eat, I love to cook, I love highlighting that Black and Brown experience. Again, kind of drawing from that Essence Fest. idea. And then of course, I always would curate events. So even when I'm big on hosting. I guess I should have added that as well. Host with the Moses. Love bringing people together, whether it's a Friendsgiving or I'm having some type of the photo shoots that I would do, the creative projects and building teams and bringing different vendors together. I was already doing that on the side just for fun because I just enjoyed it. I loved bringing all my friends together, having themed parties, doing stuff, bringing maybe a musical act and different vendors to kind of come and highlight their brand and for people to continue to support them. So I really started doing that. So I was like, how can I piece all these three things together? And it kind of grew into a conversation with a close friend of mine, Billy. And we were just jotting down ideas. And she's like, well, why don't we do something called she kind of helped me think of the name, like Taste of Black. And I was like, you know what? This could be a thing. It just kind of hit that light bulb where it's like, I'm already doing this in separate spaces, but what if I unite all my passions into one and create events that have purpose? I wanted to, so that's how Taste of Black was birthed. And I recall when I lived in Tampa at the time, I was there for about a year. I felt like when I first kind of entered the community, I was trying to find and engage in different spaces where there were a lot of Black and brown creatives. And it's a hidden gem. I didn't feel like I found that right away. And being able to connect with my people, specifically in the community that I was in with my fiance and stepson. So I was like, I just remember talking with other bloggers and creatives and, other women who was like, you know what, wouldn't it be cool if we could put something together that celebrates our community and highlights the diverse voices in this area? So it was always an idea and something we were talking about, but there was no execution. The vision was there, but life got busy, things happened. So we never got to get it off the ground. So fast forward, Taste of Black, I've now moved back from Tampa to North Carolina. I reached out to my two good friends who are now part of the Taste of Black team. And I was like, hey, ladies, I just want to throw something out to y'all. Let me know if you want to jump on this train. I feel like this could really be beneficial. We talked about it, and now there's an opportunity where we can really do that. And I know what was helpful is because of all the previous projects I had done in North Carolina years ago, especially more in the modeling and creative arts, I had a roster of talent I could reach out to, whether it was chefs, other entrepreneurs, creatives, business owners. I feel proud of the relationships that I was able to build over time for various projects.
Right.
I knew there were people I could really count on who I considered family, who I just wanted to share the idea. So my two friends were on board and like, yes, let's do it. And like, when should we launch? I'm like, okay, I think we had talked about it in like late January. I'm like, well, let's do a dinner party. It can be very small and intimate, nothing crazy. And we basically had maybe less than a month's time to pull that off, which was done beautifully. I feel like we work very well under pressure as a team. But highly encouraged for any business owner, please take your time. I'm already thinking about the next big event for Black History Month that I'm starting to plan now. Just so we can do it in excellence and everything doesn't feel super rushed. But we did the dinner party. I was scouting locations, reaching out to close friends. I called people at first to kind of, one thing that I highly recommend as a business owner, if you have an idea and there's a group of people that you trust, definitely do like market research, highlight your idea to others who can kind of be a trusted source of like advice. And it was nice to kind of get some soundboards prior to launching to be like, hey, I have this idea. This is what I want to call it. What are your thoughts? And I got some amazing feedback from some close friends and basically saying, would you be willing, if you saw this event posted on Eventbrite or was advertised, would you feel called to attend? Would you feel like there was like, I would show up to that and I would pay the amount of money? And the common answer was yes. Everyone loves a dinner party. I wanted to highlight some amazing Black chefs in the community. I already was close friends with a lot of them from previous projects. So it just felt like a no-brainer at that point. And I was like, you know what? Something's calling us to do this. Let's do it. So I'm very big on like shooting my shot and just kind of going for it. And I feel like I was backed up by so much support. And folks were like, yeah, like this is a great concept. And I think the biggest thing I was hearing, especially from folks in Tampa, was I haven't heard of anything like that exists yet. And if it does, it's very like, must be under the table. Like there's not much broadcasting. So it seemed like there was a need in the community. It felt like there was this call to action to kind of take initiative in developing this. And it just was something that folks were really excited about. So I was like, you know what? It's been my goal to always do something special for Black History Month. And I was like, this is our time. So we did the soft launch. I was able to pull everything together, the chefs, the venue, sent out the invitations. My team is phenomenal. I think I love that one is more in the creative director space. The other one's on the business side and the numbers. And they're definitely they keep it real, my keep it real team. And They're solid.
That's
So
important. Yeah.
absolutely. So that's how we kind of built our first event. So we were very happy with the feedback. We're really big on having like lessons learned conversations, seeing what went well,
Yeah.
what didn't.
Debrief. Yeah, that's important.
Absolutely. So I think after the dinner, which are great, I know that anything we do Taste of Black related, there's always going to be some type of food element. But we wanted to take it up a notch. We had an opportunity to partner with a local, well, not, I mean, it's, I guess, nationwide, but a business social status in Tampa, where Deshauna
Mhm.
used to work. And we were just spitballing ideas. We're like, okay, the dinner party was great. We got amazing feedback. Now let's do a soft, I thought it was only right to do a soft launch in Tampa as well, since
Yeah.
we had done something in North Carolina that was special. So we thought, okay, we're throwing different ideas on the wall. And it's like, let's go with a panel discussion. We were kind of thinking about the value that has, especially back to the storytelling for folks
Right.
to share their entrepreneur journey, highlighting different business owners, specifically Black business owners in the Tampa, St. Pete community. And
Yes.
that's how Food for Thought was built, was just kind of having different discussions with my team. We're really
Mhm.
big on having like our brainstorming sessions. And as you
Mhm.
know, both ladies have lived in Tampa all their lives, I was really pivoting to them to kind of share, well, what do you feel would be helpful in the community that you live in? What could you see people really,
Being drawn to.
yeah, being drawn to? And the panel discussion was a big highlight. And even just finding the panelists, it was serendip, I would say divine timing. A lot of the
Okay.
people on the panel were divinely chosen, to be quite honest. The vendors, everything fell into place beautifully. Once I landed from North Carolina, we just kind of hit the ground running. And I just knew it was my mission for that event to create not your stereotypical networking event. I really wanted to create something unique and different, and I get folks out of their comfort zone and just
Yeah.
kind of make people feel right at home. I feel like with every event we have, we want people to feel comfortable and, that they can be themselves, and just like a family, one big family cookout. The energy we were trying to bring with the food, the discourse, even the vendors were strategically handpicked. I want there to be some type of hands-on activities. So yes, so different from our dinner parties, that's always going to still be a constant. And people love food, people love a theme,
Yeah.
dress up, come with your friends, your hubby, your significant other, and just kind of enjoy a night, be taken care of, put your feet up and just enjoy like an elegant dinner.
Yeah.
Um, and then now with the panel discussion, we were really big on, again, like, let's take this up a notch. Let's think about
Mhm.
workshops. How can we share some enriching gems, knowledge, especially for our young entrepreneurs or people that are just
Yeah.
trying to get off the ground? So Food for Thought will definitely continue to be a series. And
Okay.
we're already starting to think of the next topic. It'll always be a new group of guests. And it
Mhm.
just felt right. I think it was just one of those things where I'm grateful for my team that we can kind of talk through different ideas and think about what's helpful in our communities and what we want to highlight and where the value is. So that's
Yeah.
kind of been like our main mission. Again, highlighting the face behind the brand, and then always again having that food element where there's some type of culinary art piece
Yeah.
being presented.
It's a part of it. No, I like that. I thought it was really good. I thought the guests were good. I thought the panel, I thought the food, I thought the whole thing, the whole setup was really cool.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
so you'll have to tell me this, because I think that it's important, like when you're whenever I'm talking to people thinking about different events and activities and people being participating in things, new business ideas, making changes, making choices around things. Talk to me a little bit about what strategies, because I tell people, when you listen into the show and reimagining, it's all about getting those nuggets from those who do things and do things well. What strategies do you use, Jessica? Because you're multifaceted, multi-talented, doing all of these things. What strategies do you use to balance the demands of being an entrepreneur, being this creative, bringing this super connector, and kind of bringing all these things together? How do you balance kind of the demands of being this superlative young woman and all of the things that you do? How do you keep up with yourself? I know some days
Ooh,
you're like, oh my goodness, what all have I got to do?
absolutely. No, for sure. I think and that used to be a challenge for me. Work-life balance was very hard initially, and something that I still am aspiring to get to a point where it's like, okay, but I have had some really great, my support system is everything, and being
Yeah.
able to find find moments of peace and rest, and just kind of have the understanding where it's like I don't have to tackle everything all at once, and
Yeah.
taking time for me. Because again, like,
Beautiful.
I mean, I wear a lot of different hats, like you mentioned, and I have a family as well. And I just try to pour in. I feel like I can't be the best version of myself for others and the people that I love and care about if I'm not taking care of me and prioritizing my self-care. And
Yes.
self-care can look different for a lot of people. Um,
Yes.
but for me, it's just pouring into the things that give me peace, give me joy, whether that's going on a walk, unplugging, spending time in my faith. Very, very big on prayer and
Yes.
meditation, and just,
I'm
you
glad
know,
to hear that.
yeah,
Yeah.
get involved in things that don't create more stress than necessary. Because, like you said, with balancing such a long list of action items to go get through, that can be very overwhelming. And it's just like the list just continues to grow. I will say there obviously have been moments as an entrepreneur where things can get a little tight, especially on the event planning side, where things may not go according to plan. And that's just typical. Any
Yeah.
event or project that I work on, I already have the expectation that it's okay. Throw perfection out the door, because that's just not.
Yes. That's true. You gotta
Yeah,
be like that. You really
yeah,
do. You
let's
really
keep it
do.
real. And then I kind of compared. I haven't had my wedding yet, but I've been to quite a few where I have seen things, go awry, and
Mhm.
folks just kind of have to adapt and be able to kind of roll with the punches. And I feel like I've gotten a good knack of working under pressure and just kind of
Mhm.
taking like deep breaths, centering myself, and being like, okay, what do I have the ability to handle now, and what can be saved for later? And I think it's really important to ask for help. I'm big
Critical.
critical. You're one person. Like, it's just, yes, I'm the founder and business owner, but like I have an amazing team. Half of
Yeah.
this wouldn't be possible without them. I'm grateful for it. And I know I'm very vocal when it comes to needing support or needing help. Or if there's something that I don't have the skill set or the bandwidth to take on,
Yes.
I'll be very clear with my expectations and be like, hey, XYZ person, can you help take this on? Or do you have and I understand that also people have their own lives. A lot of my team have 9 to 5s and other commitments as
Mhm.
well, outside of just Taste of Black or Carolina Cosmic. So we do a little bit of, I'm really big on checking in, doing pulse checks with my
Yeah.
team, and just kind of dividing and conquering certain tasks
Mhm.
so people don't feel overwhelmed or burnt out.
Right.
Because I know what that feels like, and it's just not a fun feeling. And I feel like we'll continue to create events and maintain a standard of excellence the more we take note of that and be able to kind of ask for support, make sure we're taking times to kind of decompress, and especially post event. So we had the recent Taste of Black event just this past month. So I have to be mindful. I have to kind of check in with myself where I
Mhm.
want to make sure that when I'm in these spaces that I'm really being present in the
Yeah.
moment, enjoying it. Because I'm so quick at like, all right, I'm just very like, okay, next, very methodical. But it's like,
Yeah.
just take a breath and enjoy the hard work. Like, enjoy the fruits of your
Yes.
labor. Um,
Yes. Do that.
it's
Yeah.
so important. And it's just a beautiful thing. So I wanted to make sure I took a little bit of a respite before thinking about the next big project. I was like, we just worked very hard on this past event, and there was a lot of energy, resources, and funding that went into it to make it what it is. Let me just take a quick little mini vacation before I
Yes.
start plotting, because then it takes the joy out of it too, where it's just like, okay, and next, and then it's just like, what are we doing? I'm just checking boxes at this point. It doesn't feel
Right.
it didn't have that initial like fire and excitement. So, and I feel like the more time that I take away, I'm able to even come back with a more creative ideas and an even bigger and brighter vision when I kind of take that moment of self-reflection, can kind of journal, think about,
Yeah.
do kind of a deep dive into, and even forward thinking, what is the future going to look like for these events? What are our goals and objectives for both businesses? What are we hoping to achieve? So I'm really big on I do feel like there's power in words, which you speak out.
Yes.
I'm very big on that. And I feel like I've been,
Affirmations. I do too.
yes, big on affirmations, and just
Yeah.
being more like, yes, we will reach this level of, we'll meet this goal or we'll meet this target, and this dream collab will happen. I don't know when. I mean, that's all God's timing, right? But
Yeah.
I'm hopeful that if it's meant to be, if it's meant for us, then there's nothing that can stop that from coming to life. So those
Absolutely.
are
Absolutely. You put it out there, and it'll find you. It will come. It will find you. I totally believe that. I totally believe that. Yeah. No, I'm glad to hear, especially being a young, you're successful already.
Oh,
And
thank
the
you.
more success is going to continue to come to you. It will. It will pursue you because you
Mm.
are the type that you're a woman of faith. It is going to find you. And I remember, oh, what's the young man's name? He said he dropped a gem. I was like, okay.
Oh, baby Tyler.
Yes,
Yes,
Tyler. I
yes,
all of them said great things. They all did. But I remember he said, what did he say? He was like, you will not miss it. You won't miss it. It will find
it
what
will.
is meant for you. It is meant for you and it will find you. It will.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
such a unique thing about that too with the panelists, which why I say it was divine.
Divine.
None
Yeah.
of them had, that was their first panel. They had never been in a panel discussion prior. It was
They
all their
hadn't.
mm-hmm.
Well, they all did a very good job.
Yes, I was so proud. So it's just, I'm so grateful. And just hearing their feedback as well on how the opportunity kind of was a very monumental moment for each of them, and just the excitement and the
Yeah.
appreciation for being able to be a part of that experience. And it was twofold. I was just like, wow, this is such a great group of panelists. And they
Yeah.
never, a lot of them had met for the first time. And it was just,
Really?
yeah.
I thought that they had all knew each other and
A
they
few
were
of them.
friends with each other and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. But the chemistry
Good
was just
job.
on point. So I love
Yeah.
trying to create opportunities where people can be pushed out of their comfort zone and kind of see what's
Mhm.
possible when they just kind of dive in. Um,
Yeah.
so it was a beautiful thing. I think that made it even more special for them to be like, oh wow, like I felt honored to have them on the panel for our first event for sure in Tampa.
Yeah. Yeah. Y'all did good.
Thank you.
Pat yourself on the back. You did real good, girl. You did real good. What else was I going to ask you? I was going to ask you, okay, so,
Oh yeah.
I just asked you about making sure that you take a good rest and that you're taking good care of yourself and all of those things. And so I'm glad to hear that you are doing that's a part of your practice because that is so
Yes.
important. That's going to keep you going. That gives you the longevity. Now I'm going to ask you, okay, well, what you got coming up next, Jessica?
All the things. Yes. After the success of our event in Tampa, I definitely want to continue doing some things in Florida.
Okay.
We were able, obviously we had the event, but I was also able to build some relationships with other business owners while I was in town and talk to people who own specific venues who are in different niches. So already starting to bring, so I don't want to share too much, but I would like to do another dinner party in North Carolina. So I'm already starting to connect with some chefs locally and do something special here. And then Black History Month, I do want to do something big. Maybe, ideally it could be like a 3-day series where we center basically like a little mini Essence Fest, so to speak, center on the food, the culture, the workshops, the panels, and just kind of like a nice little homecoming experience for people to really like engage and fellowship. And I would like to do something that extends beyond just one day event. So that's why I'm like, yeah, we're already talking through things
You
now.
already got it's percolating. It's percolating.
So that's the goal. And then hopefully in time, I would love to expand beyond North Carolina and Florida. And I've already gotten requests to look into Atlanta, Charlotte, DC. There's just so much talent nationwide and even globally. So I'm just going to continue to sow our seeds where we are and continue to water that plant. And then we can kind of spread our roots elsewhere. I'm very eager for building relationships outside of those 2 states.
Beautiful. Well, beautiful. Well, hey, you let me know where you're going to be.
Yes.
Let me know. Well, Jessica, before I look, our time I swear the time, I don't know where it goes. But before you leave the lab, I want you to give those who are, well, first of all, I want people to know where that they can connect with you. And of course, all of your details are going to be in our show notes. And Jessica.delovely and at Taste of Black. You can follow her on Instagram. Go and check her out. Get in contact with her. If you've got events and things that you are wanting to put together and curate, you have got the curator of curators. She can help. She can help. This is what she does. Y'all heard? This is what she does.
Yes,
This,
tap in with me, please. It would be an honor and a privilege.
yeah,
Open with any and everyone. But yes, no,
definitely.
please go ahead.
I was just gonna ask you. So, if three things that you would give to those change makers, those who are those creatives, those who are entrepreneurs, those ones who are thinking of doing things, they are reimagining, they are right there. There. What advice would you give to them? Or
Absolutely.
three
Three
things that you
things.
learned.
Yeah. So my first one, and this resonates very much with this whole season. And I learned this at an early age as well from a mentor when I was an undergrad. A setback is a setup for a comeback. And
Mhm.
I truly believe that because there was a instance where my 9 to 5, unfortunately, I was let go in June of this year, which allowed me to pour more into what I initially would consider to be my side hustles and my passion projects, ended up being the main hustle. And what was interesting about that was that on my last day of work was when my LLC for Taste of Black was approved by the Secretary of State in North Carolina. So as much as it was initially hard to close that chapter and I didn't know what the future was going to have in store, and I had to make kind of a quick decisions to decide, okay, how do I proceed after all of this? Especially when you're losing a main source of income and having to now think on your feet and come up with other ways to stay afloat. It really allowed me to pour back into my creative space. Still maintained, there were some dry and tough seasons, but still maintained optimistic, prayerful, and just kind of kept my eye. I knew the light would be at the end of the tunnel. And I had an amazing support system. Again, goes back to, and I guess that would be my second piece of advice, the power of partnerships. Having some amazing, my tribe is everything. My community, my people, my support group really pushed me beyond out of my comfort zone and made me see like, yes, you are worthy. Yes, like you are, continue to go for it and rise and just, this is an obstacle, it's a setback, but you'll be able to kind of overcome. And I was just so grateful for having those affirmations and those amazing people in my corner to continue to help me thrive and prosper and just not kind of stay in a funk that can be a big and heavy change for a lot of people. I mean, it's not an ideal experience for folks. So was able to kind of push through that and really pour into my businesses and give it my all, 100%. And then now looking back, I don't think any of those events, food for thought, would not have been birthed had it not been for the season that I was in and having to make that transition. So looking back, I didn't see it then, but I see it now. It's like I have an attitude of gratitude for all the things. It's either a lesson or a blessing I have learned. And there's always something to be learned from both. So I would say your setbacks can definitely navigate you in a different direction. Don't lose faith. Continue to remain hopeful and just continue to, it may not happen at the timing. Again, it goes back to that timing situation. Patience is truly a virtue. I think in this day and age, a lot of folks can be like, okay, now, like I want it now. Everything's very fast and given to us, social media, everything's quick. But I've learned to kind of goes back to the unplugging and having a moment of peace, restoration, just kind of being in a calm space where it's not like I have everything needs to be rushed and quick. So I'm grateful for those moments too, because I've noticed when I kind of take time to pause and I'm not rushing to something, more blessings come that way. So just being able to find moments of peace, things that bring you calm. And then of course, I would say to any creative business owner, challenge yourself, baby steps, whether it's you're going to a networking event or you want to engage you want to take that first step. Maybe you want to meet different sponsors or possible vendors or just make connections with other people in the niche that you're interested in. It could be anything, you name it. You have to be able to build relationships with others. That has truly served me well and has helped my business flourish. So being able to build connections, get out of your own way, your own headspace, and just create those genuine interactions with others and highlight the things that you're passionate about. People will see that and they'll want to invest in you and support you and just be there by your side. So I would say be proactive about that. Even if it's something that you do once, twice a month, where it's like, I'm going to go to this networking event and talk to somebody, try to talk to maybe 2 people and just see what comes out of that, encounter. And I've definitely been grateful for a lot of those experiences that I've had to be able to meet some amazing people. These businesses wouldn't have thrived if I hadn't. So highly encourage folks who may be a little bit more on the wallflower side or like to be stay at home a little bit more than going out. Challenge yourself and take that first step. I assure you. And most importantly, be your authentic self in all of those scenarios. No one else is you. You have that secret sauce, that special seasoning. And that's what makes you the beautiful version of yourself. And just pour into that, flex that. And I think there'll be a lot of amazing things that'll come your way. So I do everything in authenticity. And I think there'll be a lot of blessings and positive outcomes from that.
Yeah, that's worth it. Good stuff. Jessica Douglas, the Carolina Cosmic Collective, and Taste of Black. Jessica, it has been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
Lab. Oh, you guys, thank you for tuning in with us this evening. It has been a pleasure. It is always a good time to reimagine you. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget, every Friday there is a new episode. You can tap in. Join us on Instagram, Spotify, Apple, anywhere that you tune into podcasts, you will find us there. Love you guys. I will see you next week. God bless you. Bye. And we'll see you next time. Jessica.